Military families are too familiar with PCS orders, permanent change of station, when a family must pull up roots and move to another base, sometimes halfway around the world. It was during one such event that our next guest had an idea for a business.
Yes, one that would actually help families with all of the many problems that a big move entails. It seems pretty simple, but the military does not provide much help with the logistics of moving a family, finding a home, enrolling kids in school, all those things you have to do. So joining us now is Ken Robbins. He's the co-founder and the CEO of Millie. It is a company that helps military families with the logistics of moving. And Ken, you and your family, you know all too well how difficult it is, because I understand you've moved 12 times in the course of your 20-year military career.
Yeah, and Bob and Heather, thanks for having me on today. Yeah, we did. My wife and I moved 12 times in 20 years.
Wow.
So that gives you a sense of how often, we stayed in some places for as long as 3 or 4 years. But of course, if you average that out, that means in some places we were there for less than a year, and then we were on the move again. And this isn't just us. I mean, this was a reality that over 500,000 military families face every year. They're moving all around, not only around the country, but around the world. On very short notice sometimes, and they're having to deal with all the stress and the pressures that come along with that. And that's what we try to do at Millie. We try to just make it a little bit easier for them by providing them great information and resources so that they can find their home in their new location and get to the business of enjoying life there when they relocate to that new location with their family.
I grew up in Northern Virginia, and everybody seemed to be military around us, working at the Pentagon. They'd be there and then leave. Some were there a longer time, of course. I assume that must have been one of your stops. But this involves a whole family. So you must focus not just on the primary member of the military, which could be the father or the mother. I'm assuming a lot here that it's a family. But you got to help the whole family.
Yeah, absolutely right, Bob. In fact, in our case, we tend to focus on the military spouses, and over 90% of military spouses are women. And what we have discovered, and certainly I know this was true for my wife, is they bear the brunt of a lot of these financial decisions, and they're responsible for a lot of this. Because in a lot of cases, I would get to a new duty station, and I would have to deploy right away, or I'd be out in the doing training exercises. And so as a result, she was left to kind of make a lot of these decisions. So we really try to focus on those military spouses on our site and give them the tools they're going to need, because we know in a lot of cases they're the decision makers in the family, and they're the ones deciding where the family's going to live and taking care of all these when they get to that new location.
What about when it comes to the children? What type of avenues do you have for assistance in that area?
Yeah, we focus a lot on schools, obviously, and there's a lot of great resources that already exist out there. But one of the things we try to do is educate families about how to choose the right schools for their kids, and to try to get away from kind of the ratings and the whether a school is the best school, so to speak, and look at it from a different perspective, which is maybe which schools have more experience with kids that are in the military. Maybe they're used to transitioning a lot of kids in the military that come in and out of the school. And those may be kind of the schools that will be a better fit for your kids. And we try to help families think through that process, and understanding that it's not a one size fits all, and every family's got different needs, and trying to find those schools that will be a good fit for your kids and what your kids need when they get to that new duty station.
What are we not asking you that people often want to know about?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just a lot of times you might see a military family moving into your community, and I always tell folks, don't throw yourself out there and go introduce yourself. I mean, they're only going to be in the community for 2 to 3 years. That's the reality. They're going to be there. They're going to have to move again. But they probably have some needs that maybe you don't really understand, because you've lived in a community for 10, 15, 20 years. So if there's a military family that moves down the street and's renting a home in your neighborhood, reach out to them, connect with them, find out what they might need. You'd be surprised. But also I think it's just a great way to connect with a fellow neighbor and learn a little more about them. And we always try to encourage folks to try to do that.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can go to our website. And I know you guys have posted it, and we appreciate that. It's gomillie.com. And there's plenty of ways to connect with us on there. And a lot of our resources on there are 100% free for military families. We also do a lot for real estate agents. So if you're a real estate agent out there and you want to help military families, we have resources for you as well. And we try to educate real estate agents on how they can better connect and better serve military families that are moving in their communities.
Yeah, and by the way, I went to school with a lot of Army brats, Air Force brats, just as my daughters do now. And they are some of the best people because they've gotten so used to moving around. They're used to meeting new people. They're very friendly.
Yeah, my two girls, they had to change schools all the time, and we're very proud of both of them. Obviously, one's a college graduate, one's in college right now, and they learn to adapt. And the great thing is they've moved so often that nothing is really everything's an adventure to them. So when we get to a new place, they're excited to be there. They want to meet new people. They want to learn about the area, and then as soon as they do it again, they were excited to do it once more, and it's really helped them really be welcoming to people too. One of the things that they had to learn is they had to learn how to make friends, fast and very often. And so you're absolutely right, Bob. That's one of the things. And we always encourage folks, welcome those military kids into your community and your schools. Reach out, get to know them. They may only be there for a couple of years, but you never know. They might be back because that happens a lot too. They might leave and come right back to the same place.
And you would know.
Yes.
Ken Robbins, thank you very much. Millie is the name of the company. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ken.
And thanks
Thank
for
you.
your service.
Thanks, Bob and Heather.
All right, coming up, Kamala Harris, the vice president, getting slammed over the weekend for what many called a tone-deaf post on social media, telling everybody to enjoy the long weekend with her picture.
Yeah.
More on American Agenda after this.